Dum 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 dum. Hey everybody, welcome back to SketchCraft Live. I'm Rob Duenas, Graphic Artist Esquire, and if you're joining for the very first time, you should know that we typically talk about comics, art-related geek movie stuff, but this time we're going to basically just review the Deadpool movie. To help me do that is Brandon Let Heavy James. Brandon, say hi.
Hello.
All right, Ashley can't make it because she didn't see the movie. So, no need to get into that. Now, that all being said, Brandon, you saw the Deadpool movie?
Yep.
I saw the Deadpool movie.
I saw it twice.
I know. I couldn't see it during the weekend when I was up there for Amazing Con. The weekend it came out because my wife would not appreciate. So I had to wait a full week. That was fun. And then I got to go see it again. I got to go see it. And then we could talk about it now. I'm actually going to go see it again next weekend with my brother who wants to go see it. So I'll be able to give you a second thing later on down the way. Whoo! Now, folks, so you know, quickly, let's do the non-spoilers version of this review. Brandon, should people go see the movie?
Heck yeah.
I think people should go see the movie.
Oh, let me Deadpool that. Fuck yes, they should.
All right. That's right, cockknockers. Yeah, this is not a turd biscuit, right? This is totally fucking awesome. You should go see the movie. Non-spoiler review, over. So, let's move right in.
Now we're good to go with the...
Now we're good to talk about all form of spoilers. Anyway,
spoilers after this point.
We're assuming you've seen the movie. I'm not going to give you a synopsis, run through the whole fucking film. We're just going to talk about it as we see it. Brandon, just kick it off. Let's talk about some stuff. Some shit you loved about the movie. Go ahead, go on.
Opening sequence, the animation where it's scrolling around almost like a 3D model. I loved it. It reminded me of like in the Batman video games where you can see the 3D models and you could turn them around, zoom in and out, and see all the different details. I loved it. I thought that was the coolest shit ever, where you could just see it rotate and you see things from all point of views. That's how they started the movie off, was with this crazy car crash scene and shit just flying everywhere, and you're like, holy shit, what's going on here? This is crazy. It's just a whirlwind of epicness. So,
and then eventually you see the scene play out later on. It scrolls back to the scene.
Correct.
You see that scene play out in sort of real time, which was pretty cool. I thought in some vague way it was also an homage to the original Batman '89 intro, where it kind of goes through the logo. You know, then it pulls back, you see it's the Bat logo, and then you go into the Bat. So in a way, it felt it was sort of playing off that, but it was definitely its own thing. I do think I remember a video game teaser trailer where they rotated around that, like a fixed scene. What was that for? There was something like that. It was like this God of War-ish kind of thing. I can't remember, but I do know that.
the one I think of, if you're gonna talk video games, is the Zombie Island game, the Left 4 Dead.
There you go.
Or Left 4 Dead 2, where they're in the hotel and it goes through the whole rewind of the whole scene, slow motion.
I know that Blur Studios, the director Tim Miller runs Blur Studios. I know Blur Studios does a lot of stuff for gaming. Their advertisements, like CG movies. I wonder if Blur worked on that. You should look that one up. So that being said, yeah, I thought the opening credits start off perfectly. It really makes fun of itself in terms of like the credits, like directed by an asshat. You know, starring a CGI character, you know, like that. All the inside little funny, pokey, you know, they gave credit to the writers, you know, the real heroes here. So, and those got big laughs in the theater. I heard plenty of people were laughing at that stuff. So that's nice. Most people, you don't really see them paying a lot of attention. And also, I thought it was a good contrast to, did you ever see the girl with the dragon tattoo?
Yes.
Remember the opening there? That was like going through that whole black lava weird thing. You know, and it was like, it's like totally in contrast of that, right? Where it's, where that's some serious thing and this is the complete opposite. I like the one where you could see Deadpool pulling on the guy's underpants and like his shit's like he's holding him on by the underpants. I thought that was hilarious. Something that I really liked too is I really like the bar they go to, the Sisters
Mary's Wayward School.
Yeah, Wayward School. It's all a bunch of guys that are just total douchebags. I like that contrast. It kind of reminded me of the bar or the hotel in John Wick, if you ever saw that. Is that Sister Mary's, is that from the comic? Did they make that? Yeah, it is? Is that a Joe Kelly thing? Or
I'd have to look that up, but I'm 80% sure that's from the comic book.
Yeah, but I like that. I thought that was really cool. There's tons of little, like, if you look back there, you can see they wrote something on everything. Like, you know, bullshit knocker on the wall, or insert your head here.
Hmm.
There's all sorts of little knickknacks written all over that place. So it was really well designed and built, which goes to show you that that's like one set, and it's pretty memorable. So like, just this really good little set direction, and putting a lot of pivotal scenes into that particular set really pays off for the whole movie.
Hmm.
So I really like that place a lot. Uh, let's go back and forth. You name something else that you want to talk about.
Just to touch on the Blur Studios, they worked on like BioShock, all the Batman games. He directed all the Injustice, the video game with the DC world. They did all that,
Those are pretty
all the
awesome.
movies on that. Yeah, it's a cool original, story and movie within the game. So, and people love it. So they've worked on all kind of things: Halo, Assassin's Creed, all kind of things that have really cool cinematic feel to them in the game. So
But
I don't think it was a
they didn't do the Dead Island thing though.
no, no, no. I
No.
will not that I could find.
But
I
it
mean,
did remind me of that. So okay, whatever.
yeah. Um, let's see. Uh, I like the beginning. I like how batshit crazy Wade Wilson already is. It's not like he went through the Deadpool program and then he was messed up in the head. He's already batshit crazy, talking about shitting in a guy's cat's litter box, and dude's like, "I don't have a cat." I was like, "I don't know. I shit somewhere." He's already batshit crazy, but he kind of has that good guy mentality because he could kill this kid that he's sent to rough up, but he just fucks with him a little bit. So I like that you right off the bat, he's crazy, but he has some sense of morality, just slightly, kind of like he'll kill a bad guy, but he won't like shoot up a playground type of thing.
Yeah, he's
He's
definitely chaotic neutral, right?
hmm
I mean, like in that scene, he goes to rough up the dude who's apparently harassing a girl. Now that girl did put out a hit on the guy. That was the
right,
card that Wade took up. But then he goes, "Oh, give her money back." And then he also felt sorry for the guy. I did some stalking in my youth too.
right,
He sympathized with both ends. So it's like he's definitely a guy who's a conflict. But you're right. His humor seems to be the superpower.
yeah,
Like his superpower, even though, like, yeah, I guess technically, and you got to explain this for me in a minute, but technically, he has the healing factor and everything. But really, his superpower is his humor. I can, and if I don't relate to a lot of superhero shit, other than that would be awesome if I could run really fast, or that'd be awesome if I had a fucking awesome car. But in terms of humor, no matter what situation I'm in, like I know that's me. Like,
right,
you've been there with me, right? You've seen some horrible
hmm
shit. I don't stop. Like,
yeah,
I'm like, I get this. I'm not nearly as witty. I don't have a movie script dude writing fucking shit down for me all the time. But I can tell you, even in the army, man, when shit got bad, I was like, ha ha
right.
ha. We're all gonna die, like,
Whee!
yeah, I got a grenade, could blow my hand off, I hope it's my left, use my left hand, so in case, this one, I still got a stump, I can hook with my left. So I can definitely, like, I can relate to this character in that manner. Also, I have no problem with, you know, uh, assassination. Like I get it.
Right,
So
there's a purpose.
I do like the way it referenced the Wolverine Origins movies too. Like in two like strong ways. One, he has his own action figure of the shitty Deadpool. Which
Right.
is genius because no one in the theater picked up on that. Like, I guess I must have been the only one who knew what that was. But I gotta say, it still is so horribly bad what they did to him in that movie.
Oh yeah.
And I still don't fucking get. Rob Liefeld mentioned this on the Collider Heroes thing. Where does he put the fucking knives? If he has adamantium katana blades going up into his arm, how does he bend his elbow?
Right. They
Like,
were like 5 feet long.
yeah, like how does he bend his elbow if he's got adamantium? Like they're not like Barack where they go on his forearm, Like they're going all the way up into his So I like that he has, and he's packing it like that's my memorabilia.
Right. And then
Um,
the other reference is when Ajax, the bad guy, says, "Why don't I show your mouth shut?" And he's like, "Oh, I don't think that'd be a good idea."
well, I was also thinking too when he was talking about you got me there. It's actually a third time because I was also thinking about when he was talking to T.J. Miller. What's T.J. Miller's character's name in the movie?
Weasel.
Weasel. I just teach T.J. Miller. When he's talking to Weasel about places he's been when I was a kid, I was in Mogadishu. I was in like he was talking about. Remember when he would run around with Wolverine's crew,
Right.
blowing up villages in Nam and shit.
Yeah. All
So
over the place.
although that does and this is the one thing the movie doesn't even bother trying to take a stance on. How old is this guy, right? Like what year does it sort of take place in? I
I'd
mean,
say current year. I
current
think.
year, but if he was in the Wolverine program in the 70s, like, you know, and he didn't have the healing factor yet at that point. This is one of those things where he makes that joke. My favorite joke in the movie where he goes, Patrick, Stewart or McAvoy. The timelines get me all screwed up.
Right. They were taking. Colossus is taking Deadpool in, and he's like, and he's like, we're gonna go see the professor, and he's like, McAvey or Stewart? Your timeline's got me all fucked up.
Right. And I mean, and it's funny because I feel the same way even with his own timeline. Like, there's no way to
Mm-hmm.
really pin it down. Luckily, the movie exists, 16 walls, right? I'm going to break the wall
Right.
within a wall within a wall. So, now the thing I want to talk about a little bit, Brandon, you could explain this to me because I'm not really up on Deadpool lore. All right. So,
Mm-hmm.
like, I picked up that issue New Mutants that had him on the cover because I thought it was Spider-Man. Spider-Man's got swords now and a gun. That's crazy. I didn't know it was Deadpool. I didn't read the fucking. I know even though it says around the cover. As a kid, I was like, that looks cool.
Right.
So I didn't really follow Deadpool a little bit more until the Joe Kelly stuff. When Pete Woods was drawing it, because Pete Woods is from my hometown, I was like, I'll buy this Deadpool thing he's doing. So his healing factor, how does it exist in the comics, and what are they doing in the movie? Right? Because he's not technically a mutant. He's a human that was turned
He's a
into a mutant.
yeah. He's flushed. He's basically it was a failed experiment, and he was basically flushed down the drain in the comic book, which they call it the Deadpool, which is where they would just dump the bodies down, and that's what
What was
he
the
got
experiment intended to do in the comics? Like,
healing factor. I thought.
so it's part of the Weapon X program, right? To sort of to imbue Wolverine's DNA or superpower, mutant ability onto humans, basically.
Right.
Okay. And in the movie, it's more like they're trying to activate latent
Latent
mutant.
mutant genes in people.
So he would, in the movie, be a mutant at this point.
Well,
Right.
it's I believe in the movie they're saying that everyone has the potential to be a mutant. There might be some gene in you that is just dormant. So it kind of like a virus. Everyone has it, but it doesn't ever come to fruition. So, and if it doesn't, you just die in that program. But luckily he had a mutant gene in there, and that activated right before he was about to suffocate and die in the glass cage.
Yeah, it also, I mean, all right. I mean, I guess that part, but with any superhero origin, it's tough. It's like, well, okay, I guess I get it. And his mutant ability made him look like cancer, or that just was a side effect of the cancer. I
He
don't know.
had in the comic book he had cancer.
Right, but he looks all fucked up. Why? Because the experiment went wrong. In this one, it was just a side effect of his mutation.
And it just basically like his insides were rotten from the cancer, and it just went to the outsides, like reflecting just the inside gross ugliness.
Okay. So, right. I mean, luckily it doesn't hang on that bit too long, because
Right.
it's a bit to think about. I do like in the issues of X-Men, the last time I read it was during the Grant Morrison, Frank Quietly run, the new X-Men.
hmm
And I thought Morrison did a great job of reintroducing mutants that just looked fucked up. They didn't have great mutant powers,
Right.
which technically the Inhumans were a part of that back in the day, or the Morlocks. I think those were.
Warlocks.
Was it Morlocks? That was
Morlocks.
Yeah,
Morlocks.
those were like
Morlocks.
the mutants that just they weren't powerful. They just were fucked up. So in a way, it kind of reminds me of that. Like Beak would be a great example of a mutant he's just a big bird.
Yeah.
Like
He's just the ugly big
just
bird.
an
Yeah.
ugly, sorry piece of shit bird dude. Like sorry. So thought that was kind of cool. I really like Negasonic Teenage Warhead when she takes her coat off and she's wearing the New Mutants outfit.
Yeah.
Like that's the subtle thing, but it's just fucking awesome to see that yellow and blue scheme return because it was in X-Men First Class and then they went away from it, sadly.
Mhm.
And I was glad to see that.
Now, and this might be we're jumping back and forth, but it doesn't matter. My favorite part of this whole movie is the fact that when she goes to use her powers, you actually see like a glowing aura around you to let you know she's using her powers and what the fuck is going on. The one thing that's always pissed me off about every single X-Men movie ever is I get tired like of seeing Fassbender just raise his hand in front of you and then something lifts up in the air. It bugs the shit
You're
out of
talking
me.
about the cheapo version of a magnetic power. They don't actually distort the
Right.
magnetic
If I would
field.
have seen like Magneto raise his hand and just a little blue or white glow around his body or his hand or his eyes,
The way
to
like Jim Lee used to draw the
right, you see that magnetic field. I would have loved that. It pissed me off that it was a never in any of the other mutant movies. But the fact that she's going to use her power, she bulks up. She's like, ugh, and you see the glow just start to get bigger around her and then explode. I loved it. That's my favorite thing because I hate all the other X Men movies that you're supposed to believe that because Magneto's raising his hand. Oh, he's gonna lift some shit. Bugs the shit out of me
You
to
hate
no end.
that.
Oh, I hate it. I hate if I ever met like Brian Singer, but hey, could you just if I chipped in, could you spend a little money on special effects to add a little glow to their eyes at least, so I know when the powers are being used? Like just make Fassbender's eyes turn silver. Oh shit, he's using his powers. Look his eyes. Oh shit. Otherwise, he just looks like he's grunting and holding his hand up in the air, like, oh, guess what? I'm lifting shit. And guess what? In the new Apocalypse trailer, he's lifting his hand, and here comes Xavier floating through the air. Hate that shit.
Well, I can say Joe met Brian Singer once at Comic Con,
Uh huh.
and Brian Singer was not receptive to any feedback Joe might have had about the X-Men films. Let's just put it that. Brian Singer doesn't take people's shit. Like, just put it that way. Like, he has a good job of just letting you know you're not worth his fucking time. So I don't know if he cared too much. Now I do want to say this. Like, I remember reading before the movie came out that they had approached. Was it Billy? No, not Billy Crudup, but David, the guy who played Colossus in the previous X-Men films.
I don't remember his name, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so they had approached him to be Colossus in this movie, and he turned it down for whatever reason, like because it wasn't Bryan Singer directing or some. I remember reading it, and it was like it was because basically Bryan Singer wasn't directing, and I only work with Bryan Singer. I guess after X-Men 3. And what a stupid fucking move that was, right?
Right?
You dumbass, Like, first off, I only know that guy from X-Men films, right?
Yeah.
So when someone calls you up and says you want to be in another one, you just take the fucking job, dude. You can
Right?
be a good actor in a shit movie. Plenty of Oscar-winning. Leo DiCaprio was in some shit movies. Remember the fucking Island? Remember that movie? Like,
Yeah.
not the one with Ewan McGregor, also a shit movie. But
You
there
talking about
was
Shutter Island?
no, 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 no. I actually like that movie. But there
Oh,
was a movie that he did right after Titanic, where he went to this island with a couple, and it was I still don't even know what the fuck happened in that movie, man. But he got paid like $40 million or some shit like that to do it, so
jeez.
took the paycheck.
Oh yeah.
I like
Smart
Shutter
man.
Island. So that being said, yeah, that guy should have been Colossus. You stupid idiot. They said it took 5 people to make Colossus. Like, one to be on set, one to do all the mocap work, one that actually looked like the guy, one that could actually read the lines and do the voice and had to mimic, and then one guy that had to do kind of like go in between. Like, it was crazy. It took
Right.
5 people.
I saw the pictures of the stunt double dude who was a really big guy,
Yeah.
and he looked like a Teletubby. He still had like this weird pole on his head and a circle ball because that's where the Colossus head would be, even though the guy's already like 6'5".
Also, it gathers light.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But yeah. Yeah, they put it.
What?
They put the head there so you know where to look according to the height scale.
Nice.
Right, but yeah, they saw him on set with the big mocap, the leotard with the ball, little black dots and shit on there. Yeah, but that being said, Colossus was fucking awesome. Like in this movie, like it was finally great because when we saw X-Men 2, it was like I remember when Colossus appeared for like 1 second, it knocked that guy through the wall. Comes out
Right.
all armored up. Everyone was like, "Holy shit, Colossus!" Like the whole theater
And then
erupted.
that's it.
And then he's like, I can help. And Wolverine's like, no, you go help the kids. And we were like, no. And then we had to listen to Backstreet Boys being in fucking Cyclops' car and shit.
In sync.
See, I don't even. Thank you. Thank you.
It might have been.
You
It
want to
might
get
have
their
been.
dicks out of
It
your
might have.
mouth
It
too?
might
Like,
have. It might.
I didn't
It,
hear you throw all the balls in your mouth, Brandon. You
it
want
might have been. It might have been Backstreet Boys. Actually, I don't know.
to?
I don't know.
So
Someone let us know. Let us know.
I like that the SR-71 Blackbird was in this movie. Fuck.
Right?
You know, like
Like the true Blackbird.
the one that was in X-Men First Class.
Yeah.
You know, I was really happy to see that come back. Obviously, all the jokes Deadpool made. I mean, look, as great as Deadpool was, I think based on the trailers and the advertising campaign, like we knew we were gonna get the Deadpool. You know what I mean? Like that we've all wanted. I don't think anyone didn't think that was gonna happen. For me, the best parts of the movie were just seeing them get everything else right concerning the mutants. Negasonic, Colossus. The villain wasn't a waste of space. You know, like he was
Right.
legitimately, and he's the guy from Game of Thrones that quit. You know, Game of Thrones. He was
Hmm.
Daenerys's bodyguard dude who killed those other two guys. Fucking hilarious. And then he left, and they got another guy who doesn't look anything like him. And, and it was like everyone was like, "Who's this new guy?" But this guy who plays Ajax, I know Brandon. If you look at his facial structure, and he's obviously more buff, but he does look an awful lot like Freddie Mercury.
You
Like
know, I actually thought he looked like Timothy Holt or uh, I'm gonna say
Nicholas
Beast,
Holt,
the guy who plays Beast.
right?
He
Wait,
looked like him. I thought that's who I thought it was when I
witness
first saw the
me,
first
right?
trailer.
Witness me. Gina Serrano. She was awesome.
She's badass.
And it was great to see her be a thicker woman. You know what I mean? But like,
Right.
still, she was still tough, but still sexy and shit. And she fucking when she clobbers Colossus, that
Oh, so
fucking
good.
hit, dude. The fights in this movie, like that, they get the visceralness of a fight. Like when someone takes a hit, dude. When fucking Deadpool is punching Colossus and breaking his hands.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
telling you, man, I couldn't stop. I mean, I had a fucking tear in my eye. That shit was
that's
hilarious.
good.
When he goes, oh, your poor wife. Like the nod to Kitty Pryde, right? Like,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh no, Karen Page. Like,
Ellen.
Ellen Page, sorry, Karen Page, but oh yeah, Daredevil. So Ellen Page, but
It
excuse
didn't.
me,
It
folks.
didn't. It didn't feel like a lower budget X-Men movie. Like it felt like
The right amount of budget.
yeah, the right. It kept it very. I don't want to say gorilla, but it kept it very
Yeah,
on practical
look, you've said
without.
before your favorite comic book movie is The Crow, right? And
Yes.
for me, I think it's my favorite comic book movie too. That was like like an equivalent of a $50 million movie. The other time you have
Hmm.
like
Yeah.
12, 20 million, but an equivalent. And I think like the thing Hollywood is missing right now is they either do super dirt $2 million horror film thing, right? Paranormal fucking fuck you activity thing, or they do the $200 million Batman v Superman. And that thing in the middle don't exist no more. It's what's on Netflix. Daredevil,
Right.
Punisher, Jessica Jones, Flash Arrow. That's
Where
where
you're forced to have a good story and good directing
and work
over
within
big special
constraints.
effects.
Work within constraints. And this movie, because of their rating, has these constraints that only help the. I mean, I gotta be honest, Brandon. You know when people say think outside the box? Fuck that bullshit. You gotta think creatively within the box as an artist.
Hmm.
If you have unlimited funds, unlimited time, unlimited options, you know what ends up you end up creating the Phantom Menace. You have to start
I was
limit
going to say the new Fantastic Four.
the new well that was a little bit different. He didn't have unlimited whatever. They had a plan on that movie and then studio execs slashed it. You know what I mean? As they were
Mm.
working on it. So that's a completely different situation entirely. But case in point, they had a giant budget on the first Fantastic Four movies, the first two. Those were well budgeted. Like $100 million films.
Mm.
Didn't help the film any. So that being said, I thought it was perfectly budgeted. I personally hope that when they make a Deadpool 2, which they announced they're going to do, that they do not increase the budget one dime. Like, be like, do what you can on 50 mil. You know?
Right.
Just do what you can. Then we're going to spend another 10, 20 million on marketing and get the same marketing team, which everyone has said how great the marketing is. I gotta jump in that fucking boat, dude. This is probably the best marketed movie of all time. Fuck comic
Yeah.
book movie. I
Just
haven't never seen a movie marketed better than this. Period.
on all levels. I mean,
Ever.
you got breast and testicle
Breast.
awareness. You
Yeah.
got You got him
They
on every talk
wait,
show.
hold
You
on.
got
You don't gloss over that. It's a movie where he has cancer, so they actually went and did testicle awareness videos with Deadpool. And I gotta be honest, it's not something as a man I want to think about. But when Deadpool brings it in, it felt like when I was a little kid, and I'm going, oh, I'll eat my vitamins if Flintstones makes them. Yeah, I'll look for ball cancer because Deadpool told me. Because they're thinking accurately. Like that grown kid, we're just grown kids, man.
hmm
I'm a 38-year-old grown kid, like so. I wouldn't look at it, but Deadpool told me to, and that was a good movie, so I'll go do it. Like, yeah, but talk about some of the other advertising. Like, what was your
oh,
favorite advertisement?
uh, I just like seeing him on the talk shows. Ryan Reynolds talk about how much he loved the actual character and how after the movie was over and they're like, "Hey, you're gonna leave the suit," and he's like, "No, I fucking earned this suit. I waited 10 years for this suit. I'm taking it home with me. You're not taking it off me." And it's just cool to see an actor really love his character. I mean, love it to the point where it's like, that's him. He is Deadpool. Ryan Reynolds is just, you couldn't picture anybody else now at that point. I mean, maybe 10 years from now if they reboot it, blah blah bullshit, like they do with Batman and everybody else. But he is the truest form of Deadpool I think we would ever get from a person. And I've always been a big Ryan Reynolds fan, and I just think he worked perfect for that. And just seeing him on like uh, I can't think of the talk host name, the British guy, Corden or whatever, and they do a little sidekick thing where he's like trying out to be in Deadpool, and he does a little skit where they're both wearing the Deadpool outfits, the actual real ones, and it's just cool to see him going on different shows, wearing the suit, promoting it. You wouldn't see like Henry Cavill on Conan wearing the Superman suit. He would just be in his suit and tie and shit. So I just liked how much he loved the character.
To be fair, I don't think it would work though. I mean, like the point is the irony of the character. Like
hmm
it all works. There's so many things that are exclusive to this character that's always been that's been like the major discussion now amongst fans and movie pundits or whatever is like what are all the wrong lessons Hollywood's going to learn from this? Like are they going to force this kind of ironic humor into a Wolverine film, or are they going to say, hey, we do recognize that Wolverine's a dark character that would work as a rated R, or like The Crow, that's an R-rated movie, so that would work, or are they going to take like case in point, like what would be something like Superman? Let's make him irreverent and talking to the camera and shit. Here's a thing that does kind of like I hate to use the word scare because it's not that fucking important. But one of the things they've been talking about was a Spider-Man reboot, and Kevin Feige. Woo! Did you see the Feige pizza Easter egg in the movie?
No.
The pizza box is Feige pizza, and yeah, they did that. And so he was talking about how the reboot. He wants Spider-Man to be like a John Hughes, Ferris Bueller type movie where he's breaking the fourth wall. Because Spider-Man used to talk to the camera a lot, right? In
Right.
the comics, he talked to the reader. So my question is, if Spidey ends up doing that in the new movie, will they be like they stole that from Deadpool? Like,
Yeah.
I'm like,
Which I don't
actually,
I don't think they will with the whole Marvel universe because then you have to. I don't think they'll do that at all.
but Spidey does talk to the audience, so
I think they'll have him talk to himself, like, "Oh shit, I'm next to Iron Man. This is crazy. Aunt May's gonna kill me."
right,
Something like
like a
that. But
Morgan Freeman in Shawshank Redemption. I mean, he did the narration thing a little bit in the first Raimi film, but it was more like the head and the tail of the movie, right? Like the beginning of
mm,
the movie, this is if I told you this, it wouldn't be true. It would be, I didn't feel like he was actually saying any of that shit. It felt like what's his face was reading, Tobey Maguire was reading some fucking bullshit card.
yeah,
So for me, I have to say but the last favorite thing I really liked about in the film was I liked the Indian cab driver. Like I love the Indian cab
isn't that the
driver.
guy from the Verizon commercials?
I
The
don't know.
nerdy guy.
I don't see. Oh yeah, when they're up, when he's that chick comes down, he's like trying to get her number.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
that one you're
so.
talking about. I remember that. Yeah, I think that's him. Good call, Brandon. And I thought it was hilarious. And you hear about, he's like, who's that guy? And you hear the guy in the back, Ginter or whatever. And he's
He's
like,
like, I am so disappointed. I'm so proud of you. Take him home. Get rid of the body.
it would be great to see him turn that into something more villainous in the sequel. Like it just Deadpool has the wrong effect on that guy.
I'm
Um,
going to share something that I got to enjoy when I got to go see the movie the first time. So I'm sitting in there in the movie theater, right? And the movie's about to start. And this family walks in. You got the mom in a red dress, the dad in a camouflage hat, the 7-year-old girl, and a little 5-year-old son. Now, it's very makeshift. It's crazy looking family. It's very stereotype. And the daughter is holding this giant unicorn. Okay, the stuffed unicorn. Yes. So the scene gets to the part where Deadpool is masturbating while kissing a unicorn, and I'm looking at Deadpool, looking at the girl, looking at Deadpool, looking at the girl. When he looks at looking for the bad guy when Ajax takes off, that's exactly how I did, like cartoon style, just back and forth, back and forth. Didn't even phase them, but I'm like, how lucky am I to be seeing Deadpool masturbate while kissing a unicorn while some family brought their kids to an R-rated movie and the daughter has a stuffed unicorn. I've never even seen someone with a stuffed unicorn and they had it. I almost felt like it was like a marketing family. Like they just put them in there for the
I've
fans to
never
go like,
seen a
what the
kid bring
shit?
their stuffed unicorn to a movie theater, let alone at
Right.
the one theater that would have a movie
The
in which the
one
lead
movie
character.
that the dude's jerking off with a unicorn in his hand.
You
Oh,
should
I
have took a
lost my
photo.
shit. I should have, but I lost my shit. That was just I couldn't believe, and they stayed. They stayed for the whole movie, through the sex scenes, the
They had
Ryan,
to know what they were getting involved in,
oh,
right? So.
Ryan Reynolds thingy flying through the air, boobies, everything. They stayed.
Oh, we were talking too about Rick and Morty the other day. And I was saying what I thought was the most disturbing part of Rick and Morty. And you said there was one with the hat of dicks. Did you see him? He drew the crown of dicks on Ajax on the
Yeah,
wall. He's got a
yeah.
dick hat on him. Like it's hilarious.
Um, all right. Just if I have to say my favorite part of the movie, not as far I know the special effects with the chick, but my favorite scene was him becoming Deadpool, where he's chasing down the bad guys, jumping, and when he jumps over the stairwell, like runs and jumps across around the stairwell and shoots people. That was like the coolest, and stabs a dude in the head. That was one of the coolest scenes I've seen in a movie. Like just that cool. I'm coming down the stairs. Where's Francis? And he jumps, runs on the wall, stabs the dude, and starts chasing the other dudes. It just you have this crazy guy with swords chasing you down, and it was just the bad guys didn't know what to fucking do. They're just like,
And they had
holy.
that Eminem song, like that Eminem style,
Oh
Captain
no,
Deadpool.
that's an actual it's an actual group called Team Headkick that makes songs. All they do is make songs about video games and nerdy movies. So they have like Assassin's Creed song, the Deadpool song. So that's by them. It's an actual group. I looked this up because I was like, what's that fucking song when I was looking up the soundtrack. And that's all they do is make songs like that. And I listened to the whole thing and there's like fucking Deadpool. Oh, it was great. But that whole scene of him becoming Deadpool, and he's like, "Should I hit you?" To the woman, "Should I not hit you? Is it sexist?" And she jumps on his back. He's like, "Oh, you spider monkey."
Yeah, when
That's
he
my
throws her and calls her a spider monkey, it's
yeah.
hilarious.
That whole becoming Deadpool, quote unquote, is my favorite part of the movie. I can
When
watch
he's
that.
in that white outfit, he reminds me of Storm Shadow.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, and I was like, oh, it's very Storm Shadowy, and then he slowly just the costume gets all fucked up. Something else I want to mention about the advertising. Like my favorite advertising part, I'll say two, but the one that caught me was when he was on that thing with Slater from Slay by the Bell.
oh
He
yeah, Mario
comes, yeah,
Lopez.
yeah, when he's in the Mario Lopez, like fuck you, Slater, like that. The first time I saw that, I was like, this. If the fucking movie sucks, at least we have that. Like at
Yeah.
least because that was fucking hilarious, and the fact that Mario Lopez went along with it is funny too, because he doesn't like a lot of Saved by the Bell humor. That I think was that before or after they did that Saved by the Bell skit.
Right, I think it was before, or
Yeah, that had to kick it off. To be honest, man. But so that was
there's
awesome.
no interest in that. But
And then
I
the
don't.
other
I don't.
thing, hold on, the other thing I want to mention too was something that I don't know if a lot of people have talked about. There's quite a few different posters for this movie, but in the theater right now for Deadpool is a Drew Struzan style illustrated poster wherein the
Yes.
actors look like drawings. It wasn't like they applied some filter on the photos. They got like Paul Schiffer, one of these guys that draws just like Drew Struzan, to do something that is a classic 90s style, 80s, 90s style hand drawn movie poster. And I mean, for me, dude, it's like that is the coolest poster. I mean, yeah, the one with his crotch is funny and irreverent, but the fact that that exists, no other comic book movie. Look, as far as I'm fucking concerned, even Star Wars didn't have the Drew Struzan poster in the theater. The hand drawn poster, which I was
Right.
not happy about. It's like, okay, yeah, you kind of emulated the look, but that poster is a piece of art. It's great to see the comic book movies should all have hand drawn posters. I feel. Because they're fucking comic book movies, man. Like, if any fucking movie can get away with just even having if Batman v Superman just had a Frank Miller from the Dark Knight Returns era style art in there, or Jim Lee Batman, you can get away with it. Doesn't have to look like Ben Affleck because it's motherfucking Batman. Everyone knows, you know.
Right.
So I thought that was really that. Honestly, man, like that was a part. I was like, these guys fucking get it right, you know. Now, if only the X-Men can throw down some fucking illustrated art like that and shit. So awesome. So wrap it up, Brand. We gotta wrap this up. Is there anything else you want to bring up? Anything else we missed? Cable, right?
Cable will be in the next one. I mean, they said it
Cable.
at the end credits, so
Ashley
I
has
th-
her vote for a Clancy Brown.
I don't
Uh,
think so. I think it's either gonna be Stephen Lang or maybe like a John Hamm.
well, I know Liefeld mentioned Ham, right? John Ham. I'm cool with Stephen
Probably.
Lang, dude. You know, I mean, when I first saw Avatar, I was like, motherfucking Cable. Like, I mean, straight up, dude. I was like, motherfucking Cable. So, I mean, the only thing I can say about John Hamm is I haven't seen him outside of Sucker Punch. Like, I never watched Mad Men, so I couldn't tell you how he acts. I know he looks like the greatest older Superman, but
Yeah.
I don't know how he would play in a movie. You know what? I trust whoever they cast. At the end of the day, they're gonna cast somebody. They cast Marky Mark for all the fuck I know, and it'll probably work. You know, like
Right.
they
If you have a good director, you can make anyone work in any role.
well, Boss Logic. Like, they even made that joke about Keira Knightley, and then
Yeah.
like in the end credits, and then Boss Logic did like
A mock
a
up of
mock
it,
up,
yeah, of
and
both of them.
they could cast Keira Knightley as Cable and be like, we know, oh, we know, you know,
Right.
you know, like, how did
Give her a
this
nice
happen?
little buzz cut.
Yeah, you were expecting one of these guys. Like they whatever they do, they can intentionally stray away from it and still call it out in the movie, and we'd all be like, ha. So anyhow, man, perfect. So like I say, we don't really have a movie review. We loved it. You love it. Out of a, I'll tell you this,
And
Brandon, because we had a little conversation. You asked me what I thought out of a scale of 1 to 10. What I thought. Initially, I said an 8. My scale's hard. I have a hard movie scale. An 8 is like uh, Batman Begins is an 8. You know what I mean? Like a really good movie. I'm gonna bump this up to a 9.
oh wow.
I'm gonna bump it up to a 9. Having watched clips over again, looking at everything they did, because the movie should not exist. This movie should not exist. It should not exist. The movie should, and it's already the most successful X-Men movie. So, is it it might actually go. I reserve a 10 slot for this film if in 2 years I'm still laughing my ass off. Because with comedies, I find the jokes don't last as
Right.
long
They
as you
get
think they
very
do.
dated.
Some of them do, like Anchorman seems to stand the Ghostbusters. You know, a lot of that works over time, but a lot of them don't. So if in 2 years this fucking movie, you know, is still hilarious, it still works, you know, and I'm not just all hypnotized by the different, you know, nature of it all, then it'll fall into the 10 category because I think it's gonna change. It's gonna change the perception of the X-Men films one way or the other. You know, that
Hmm.
whole X-Men, everything changes. They're all not going to be quirky and irreverent and whatever, but I think it gives them the chance to do costumes, to do all the crazy little mutants, to show the danger room shit, and not try
Show
to make
powers.
show powers, not take shit so fucking serious. You know what I mean? Like actually be like, you can have X Force, they can have Domino can look like Domino,
Right.
Cannonball can look like Cannonball, Thunderbird can even look like Thunderbird. Like we can do this, and we have the technology. We have the technology to make it look good, and not like a Joel Schumacher fucking nonsense.
Right.
You know, big cartoon. You, Brandon, what do you give it?
I give it a 9 out of 10. I mean, like after I first saw it, I said an 8.5, but I mean, after seeing it a second time, I'm just like, yeah, this is good. As soon as it comes out on Amazon Instant Video, whatever, I'm gonna buy it. Probably watch it 5 times the first week. I don't know, over and over. Just put it on. Uh, I love. Oh, real quick, I love the music a lot. I'm a big fan of Junkie XL. We've talked about him before. The my favorite song is the 12 bullet scene when he has 12 bullets and that heavy just drums. It reminds me of that scene in Kill Bill where they're walking down the hallway and that doom doom, the heavy drums that pace itself. So I give it a 9. Love the movie, love the soundtrack, love the actors, love it all.
Perfect. All right, everybody, that's it. So, Brandon, where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook at Lead Heavy, Lead Heavy.
And as for myself, please subscribe to the YouTube channel or say hi on Twitter at SketchCraft, Instagram. SketchCraft, Instagram is my new peeps. Fuck Twitter. And, yeah, I gotta change that. Fuck you, Twitter. And just two fucks up, Twitter. Love you, Instagram people, though. You people are my fucking shit, my homies. So see me on Instagram or Facebook, DeviantArt. I still love my DeviantArts. As always, folks, SketchCraft is recording for the live internet audience and fully supported by viewers like you. Please share the videos. Please just tell your friends about SketchCraft. We do all sorts of shit. We talk about this stuff. I do real-time videos. I do speed paints. We give our tips, about to do a whole bunch of those right now. It's a place we can all hang out. We can be real about this shit, have a good conversation, and just fucking hang out every day, folks. I'm on here doing this because I'm gainfully unemployed. Perfect. We will see you on the next SketchCraft Live. Chicka-chicka.
Bye-bye.
Bum, 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 bum. Played the intro music instead of the outro music. Played the wrong music.